Hello guys, welcome to Scion What Ifs. So in this video, we will see what if Goku could copy any technique instantly like Sharingan. If you enjoy these kinds of stories, don't forget to show us some love by hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. Your support means the world to us. Now, let's start the story. Chapter 1, The Cosmic Glitch. The sky above Beerus's planet shimmered with its usual otherworldly hue as Goku dodged another lightning-fast jab from Whis. Sweat poured down his face, his orange gi clinging to his skin after hours of training. Come on, Goku. Your reaction time is slipping. Whis twirled his staff casually, somehow managing to look completely unbothered despite the intense sparring session. Goku grinned, dropping back into his stance. Just warming up. He launched forward with renewed energy, his fist cutting through the air where Whis's head had been a split second earlier. The angel's movement was so fast it seemed like teleportation. Too predictable, Whis called out, tapping Goku on the back with his staff. You're relying too heavily on your usual patterns. Vegeta, who'd been observing from the side with his arms crossed, scoffed. Kakarot never changes. Same moves, just with more power behind them. Hey, if it works. Goku laughed, rolling his shoulders. Suddenly, the air around them changed. There wasn't a better word for it. The atmosphere seemed to ripple like water, colors shifting in impossible ways. What the? Goku started. Whis froze, his usual calm expression replaced with genuine concern. This energy, it's not from our universe. A wave of multicolored light ripped across the sky, expanding outward like a shockwave. Before anyone could react, it slammed into them with the force of a supernova. Goku felt like his entire body was being pulled apart and reassembled. His mind filled with flashing images, techniques, fighters, and battles he'd never seen before. A spinning red eye. Hands forming unfamiliar signs. Warriors with powers completely different from Ki. Then everything went black. Kakarot. Wake up, you idiot. Goku's eyes snapped open to see Vegeta standing over him, looking more annoyed than concerned. His head throbbed with a dull ache, and his body felt strangely energized yet exhausted at the same time. What happened? Goku sat up, rubbing his temples. Some kind of cosmic disturbance, Whis said, scanning the sky with a troubled expression. Lord Beerus is investigating with the other gods of destruction. How long was I out? Only about 10 minutes, Vegeta said. Though that's 10 minutes too long when we should be training. Goku stood up, stretching his arms. Something felt different, but he couldn't quite place it. His mind buzzed with strange energy, almost like new neural pathways had formed overnight. I feel weird, he admitted. I dunno, like my brain got upgraded or something. Whis studied him carefully. Interesting. The waves seem to affect you more strongly than Vegeta or myself. Perhaps because of your unique Saiyan physiology combined with your extensive training across different forms of martial arts. Or maybe his thick skull just took the hit harder, Vegeta smirked. Let's see if it knocked any sense into you. Spar with me, Kakarot. Goku's face lit up at the challenge. Despite the lingering discomfort, nothing sounded better than a good fight to clear his head. You're on. They moved to an open area of the planet, squaring off as they'd done countless times before. Whis watched from a short distance, his eyes narrowed thoughtfully. Vegeta didn't waste time with a warm-up. He charged forward, his blue aura flaring as he powered up to Super Saiyan Blue. Don't hold back, Kakarot. Goku matched his transformation, the familiar rush of godly ki flowing through him. They clashed in mid-air, trading blows at speeds that would be invisible to most observers. The fight felt normal at first, the usual exchange of techniques they'd both mastered over years of training and battle. Then Vegeta jumped back, a smug smile crossing his face. Try this on for size. He extended his hand, forming a peculiar energy pattern Goku had never seen before. Hakai energy burst. A purple-tinged energy blast shot toward Goku. A modified version of destruction energy Vegeta had been developing in secret training with Beerus. It wasn't true Hawkeye, but it carried echoes of that devastating power. Instinctively, Goku raised his hands to block, but something strange happened. As he watched the technique approach, his mind seemed to absorb it. Every detail, every energy fluctuation, the precise way Vegeta had molded his ki, it all downloaded into Goku's consciousness like a computer file. Without thinking, Goku dropped his guard and extended his own hand. Hawkeye energy burst. An identical purple-tinged blast erupted from his palm, colliding with Vegeta's attack in midair. The resulting explosion sent both Scions skidding backward. Vegeta's eyes widened in shock. What the hell? How did you? Goku looked at his own hand in disbelief. I don't know. I just saw you do it, and suddenly I knew exactly how to perform the technique. Impossible. I've been working on that for months. You can't just copy it after seeing it once. But Goku knew he had. The knowledge of the technique sat in his mind, complete and accessible, as if he'd invented it himself. Whis appeared beside them, his expression unreadable. Most fascinating. It seems the cosmic disturbance may have gifted you with a new ability, Goku. What, copying techniques? Vegeta snarled. That's not a Scion trait. No, Whis agreed. It's more reminiscent of abilities from other universes, or perhaps even other realities altogether. The disturbance might have caused a temporary blending of different dimensional properties. Goku flexed his fingers, feeling the residual energy of Vegeta's technique still flowing through them. So I can just copy any technique I see now? Let's find out, Whis said. He raised his staff and performed a complex series of movements too fast for even the Scions to follow completely. A ring of light formed in the air, spinning rapidly. This is a temporal displacement field. It's a technique only angels can use. Goku watched intently, his eyes tracking every subtle movement. The strange feeling in his mind intensified, like puzzle pieces clicking into place. When Whis finished, Goku raised his hand and mimicked the angel's movements perfectly. Nothing happened. Ha! Looks like there are limits to this copying ability after all, Vegeta said, looking relieved. Whis nodded. Angel techniques require a specific type of energy that Scions cannot access. However, he performed a simpler technique, creating a small ball of light that hovered above his palm. This is just a basic energy manipulation that anyone with sufficient ki control could theoretically master. This time, when Goku copied the movement, a perfect replica of the light ball appeared above his hand. Whoa! Goku exclaimed, bouncing the ball from one hand to the other. This is amazing. It took me forever to learn the spirit bomb from King Kai, but this was instant. Vegeta's face darkened. This isn't right, Kakarot. A true warrior masters techniques through hard work and training, not by stealing them with some cosmic cheat code. I'm not stealing anything, Goku protested. I'm just learning really fast. We should investigate this further, Whis interjected. Perhaps with more, varied techniques. Goku's eyes lit up. I know. Let's go see the others. They all have different fighting styles I could learn from. Before Vegeta could object further, Goku placed 2 fingers to his forehead and vanished using instant transmission. Kamehameha. The energy blast from Gohan's hands tore across the empty wasteland where father and son had decided to test Goku's new ability. Goku stood firm, watching the technique with newfound perception. Despite having mastered the Kamehameha decades ago, he now saw nuances in Gohan's version he'd never noticed before, the slightly different angle of his wrists, the unique energy flow pattern that reflected his half-human heritage. As the blast approached, Goku raised his hands and fired off his own Kamehameha. But instead of his usual version, what emerged was an exact replica of Gohan's variation, down to the subtle energy signature that made it uniquely his son's. The 2 beams collided with equal force, dissipating in a shower of light. Gohan adjusted his glasses, looking both impressed and unsettled. That's uncanny, Dad. You copied my exact form, even the modifications I've been working on. I know. Isn't it cool? Goku bounced on his heels, exhilarated by the possibilities. I can see exactly how you channel your energy now. It's like having X-ray vision for techniques. But can you copy anything beyond ki-based attacks? Gohan asked, ever the analytical thinker. What about physical techniques or something completely different from our normal fighting style? Let's find out. Goku grinned. I'm gonna visit Piccolo next. His Namekian techniques should be a good test. Before Gohan could respond, Goku had already vanished again. Special Beam Cannon. Piccolo's signature attack, a spiraling, penetrating beam of concentrated energy, shot from his fingertips toward a distant mountain. The beam drilled through solid rock, leaving a perfect hole before the entire formation collapsed. Goku whistled. Still impressive after all these years, Piccolo. The Namekian turned, cape billowing in the wind. Gohan called ahead. Said you've developed some kind of technique copying ability. Yeah. Watch this. Goku extended two fingers just as Piccolo had done, perfectly mimicking the stance. Instantly, he felt the knowledge of the technique flow through him, the precise rotation of energy, the focused concentration point, the unique Namekian energy signature. Special Beam Cannon. The spiraling beam that shot from Goku's fingers was indistinguishable from Piccolo's, drilling through another mountain with the same devastating effect. Piccolo's eyes narrowed. That took me years to perfect. I know, and it's awesome. Goku said, examining his fingers with childlike wonder. I can feel how you developed it now, all the training and concentration it took. But you didn't put in that work, Piccolo said flatly. You just took the end result. Goku's excitement dimmed slightly. I'm not taking anything from you, Piccolo. You still have your technique. For now, Piccolo muttered. But this ability of yours, it doesn't sit right. Nothing comes without a cost, Goku. You sound like Vegeta, Goku pouted. Can't you guys just be happy for me? This could help us protect Earth even better. Piccolo sighed. Just be careful. Power you haven't earned often comes with strings attached. Always the worrier, Goku laughed, though Piccolo's concern had planted a seed of doubt. Hey, can you show me that arm-stretching thing you do? I've always wanted to try that. By sunset, Goku had visited nearly every Z fighter, copying techniques from each, Krillin's Destructo Disc, now with the ability to control its path mid-flight. Tien's multiform technique and improved tri-beam. Master Roshi's containment wave. Even Yamcha's Wolf Fang Fist, which made the former bandit both honored and slightly embarrassed. With each new technique, Goku felt a rush of exhilaration. But something else was building too, a strange pressure in his mind, as if it were becoming crowded with too much information. As he teleported to Capsule Corporation to find Bulma, a sudden headache struck him mid-transmission. He materialized in Bulma's lab, stumbling forward and knocking over a rack of test tubes. Goku! Bulma shrieked, jumping back from the chemical spill. What the hell? Use the door like a normal person. Sorry, Bulma, he groaned, pressing his palms against his temples. Something's wrong. My head feels like it's gonna explode. Bulma's irritation immediately shifted to concern. Sit down before you break something else. Vegeta called and told me about your new copying ability. He's pretty pissed, by the way. Yeah, I figured. Goku managed a weak smile as he slumped into a chair. But it was going great until now. I've copied so many awesome techniques today. How many, exactly? Bulma asked, grabbing a scanner from her workbench. I dunno, 20. 30. I lost count. She held the scanner over his head, frowning at the readings. Your brainwave patterns are all over the place. It's like you're trying to run too many programs on a computer with limited RAM. Huh. Your brain is overloading, she simplified. Whatever this ability is, it looks like there's a limit to how many techniques you can hold at once. As if to confirm her diagnosis, Goku's vision suddenly filled with overlapping images, all the techniques he'd copied flashing before his eyes simultaneously. The pressure in his head intensified, and energy began to crackle around his body involuntarily. Goku? What's happening? Bulma backed away as sparks of electricity, Namekian energy, and various key signatures began emanating from him chaotically. I can't control it. He gritted his teeth, trying to contain the surge of power. A Destructo disc formed in one hand, while his other began charging a special beam cannon. His body started to split into multiple forms like Tien's technique, each one flickering with a different copied ability. Get out of here, Bulma, he managed to yell before the energy exploded outward, destroying half the laboratory. When Goku regained consciousness, he was lying in a crater where Bulma's lab had been. Vegeta stood over him, arms crossed and expression thunderous. Congratulations, Kakarot. You nearly killed my wife with your new party trick. Goku sat up groggily. Is Bulma okay? She's fine. She made it to the panic room in time. Vegeta's voice was cold. Which is more than I can say for her 30 years of research. I'm sorry, Goku said, genuinely remorseful. I couldn't control it. All the techniques started activating at once. As I said, a warrior masters a few techniques completely rather than collecting them like trading cards. Vegeta extended a hand reluctantly, helping Goku to his feet. Whis wants to see you. He's been consulting with the Supreme Kai about this ability. Goku nodded, noticing that his mind felt clearer now. The overload had seemingly purged most of the copied techniques, leaving only a few core ones intact. Before they could teleport to Beerus's planet, a violent tremor shook the ground. The sky darkened unnaturally, swirling with ominous clouds. Now what? Vegeta growled. A blinding flash lit up the heavens, and a figure descended from the turbulent sky. He wore unfamiliar armor with symbols from no known planet, his skin a deep crimson with white markings across his face. Most striking were his eyes, golden and slitted like a cat's, burning with fury. The stranger landed before them, power rolling off him in waves that made even Vegeta tense up. So, the Crimson Warrior snarled, pointing directly at Goku. You're the thief who's been draining my power. Goku blinked in confusion. What? I haven't stolen anything from you. We've never even met. Don't play innocent. The warrior's aura flared, a unique energy signature Goku had never encountered. My stellar cannon technique, the move I spent decades perfecting, suddenly weakened yesterday when you stole it. That's impossible, Vegeta cut in. Kakarot's been copying techniques from fighters he's actually seen, not random warriors from across the universe. The stranger's eyes narrowed. Copy all you want, but somehow your new ability is draining power from the source. From me. He slammed his fist into his chest. I am Crimza, champion of Universe 6, and I've come to reclaim what you've taken. Goku stepped forward, hands raised placatingly. Look, I don't know your stellar cannon technique. If I did, it wasn't intentional, liar. Crimza roared, launching himself at Goku with blinding speed. The battle erupted instantly. Crimza was incredibly fast, his fighting style completely foreign to anything Goku had encountered before. He moved with liquid grace, his strikes coming from impossible angles. As they fought, Goku found himself instinctively analyzing Crimza's movements. The familiar sensation returned, his mind absorbing the patterns, the energy flow, the unique physical properties of each attack. Stop it! Crimza shouted, his fury intensifying. You're doing it right now. I can feel my techniques being pulled from me. Goku tried to focus on using only his own familiar moves, but it was becoming increasingly difficult. His new ability seemed to activate automatically during battle, hungry for new techniques to absorb. Crimson leapt back, his golden eyes blazing. Fine. You want my techniques? Try handling my ultimate move. He raised both hands above his head, gathering a sphere of golden energy that pulsed like a miniature sun. Stellar Cannon. The golden sphere expanded rapidly, then compressed into a focused beam that shot toward Goku with the intensity of a solar flare. Without thinking, Goku's body moved into a perfect mirror stance. No, he shouted at himself, trying to resist the copying urge. But it was too late. Stellar Cannon. The identical golden beam erupted from Goku's hands, colliding with Crimson's attack in a cataclysmic explosion that sent both warriors flying backward. Crimson crashed to the ground, his power visibly diminishing. See, he gasped, struggling to his feet. You've weakened my technique by half just by copying it. Goku landed nearby, the knowledge of the stellar cannon now firmly embedded in his mind. He could feel the technique's power, its origins, its creator's intent, all downloaded into his consciousness in an instant. I didn't mean to, Goku said, genuinely distressed. I don't want to steal anyone's power. This ability is new to me, I don't fully understand it. Crimson's expression remained furious, but exhaustion was setting in. Well, figure it out fast, thief. Because if this continues, fighters across all universes will come for your head. He staggered, his energy fluctuating wildly. And some are far less merciful than me. Before Goku could respond, Crimson's body began to glow with the same multicolored energy that had appeared during the cosmic disturbance. In a flash of light, he vanished, pulled back to his own universe by some unseen force. Vegeta approached slowly, his expression grim. This is worse than we thought, Kakarot. If your copying actually drains power from the original users, then I'm hurting people without even meaning to, Goku finished, the full weight of the situation finally hitting him. I need to see Whis. Now. But as he raised his fingers to his forehead to use instant transmission, the pressure in his mind returned tenfold. All the techniques he'd copied throughout the day, including Crimson's stellar cannon, began activating simultaneously. Energy of all types erupted from his body in chaotic bursts. Kakarot. Vegeta shouted, backing away as Goku's body became a nexus of conflicting energies. I can't stop it. Goku's voice distorted as multiple Tien-style copies of himself began to form and dissolve. Destructo discs spun around him like a deadly orbit. Namekian energy crackled between his fingers. And at the center of it all, the golden energy of the stellar cannon began to build uncontrollably. Goku's last conscious thought was a desperate attempt to direct the imminent explosion upward, away from Earth. Then his world went white as the combined power of dozens of stolen techniques detonated at once. The shockwave rippled across the planet, visible even from space as a brilliant flash that momentarily outshone the sun itself. When the light faded, Goku lay motionless at the center of a massive crater, steam rising from his body. His GI was in tatters, blood trickled from his nose and ears, and his power level had dropped to almost nothing. Vegeta landed beside him, for once not bothering to hide his concern. Kakarot? Can you hear me? Goku's eyes fluttered open, unfocused and dazed. Vegeta. I think I've got a problem. No kidding, Vegeta muttered, lifting his rival-turned-friend from the crater. Let's get you to Dend. And then we're going to figure out exactly what's happening to you before you blow up the entire universe. As Vegeta flew toward the lookout with Goku in his arms, neither Saiyan noticed the ripple in space behind them, a tiny tear in the fabric of reality, pulsing with the same multicolored energy that had started it all. Through this dimensional window, countless eyes from across different universes were now fixed on Earth, and on the Saiyan who could steal their powers with a single glance. The cosmic glitch had only just begun. Chapter 2, Dimensions of Power Darkness. Then pain, sharp, throbbing, and absolutely everywhere. Goku's eyes cracked open to a blurry ceiling and the smell of incense. The lookout. He'd recognized Den's healing chamber anywhere, mostly because he'd woken up here way too many times. He's awake. Den's voice called out. Footsteps rushed toward him as Goku tried to sit up. Bad move. His muscles screamed in protest, and his head felt like Beerus had used it for batting practice. Easy, Dad. Gohan's face came into focus, worry etched across his features. You've been out for 3 days. 3 days? Goku croaked, his throat dry as sandpaper. Piccolo stepped forward, arms crossed. Your little power overload nearly tore you apart from the inside. If Vegeta hadn't gotten you here when he did. The memory came flooding back, the chaotic explosion of techniques, the fighter from Universe 6 accusing him of stealing power, the uncontrollable surge of energy. Water? Goku managed to ask. Krillin appeared with a cup, helping him drink. You really scared us this time, Goku. After a few sips, Goku felt strong enough to sit up properly, though every movement sent fresh waves of pain through his body. The room was crowded, Gohan, Piccolo, Krillin, Den, even Vegeta lurking in the corner with his perpetual scowl. So, Goku said with a weak attempt at his usual cheerful tone, guess my new copying thing didn't work out so great, huh? That's putting it mildly, Vegeta pushed off from the wall. While you've been taking your beauty sleep, we've had visitors from 2 more universes, all warriors claiming you've stolen their techniques and weakened them in the process. Goku's eyes widened. Like that Crimson guy? Just like him, Piccolo confirmed. Fortunately, Whis and Beerus intervened before things got ugly. They're with the Supreme Kai now, trying to understand what's happening. And figuring out how to fix you before you cause an interuniversal incident, Vegeta added bluntly. Goku ran a hand through his hair, wincing at the soreness. I never meant to steal anyone's power. I thought I was just learning techniques really fast. We know, Dad, Gohan said gently. But something about this ability is linked to the cosmic disturbance. It's not just copying, it's creating a connection between you and the original technique users, drawing power from them across dimensions. Whis wants to see you as soon as you're able to move, Krillin added. He says it's urgent. Goku nodded, then immediately regretted the motion as his vision swam. Give me a few more minutes to pull myself together. As the others stepped back to give him space, Goku closed his eyes and took stock of his body. The overwhelming chaos of techniques that had filled his mind was gone, replaced by a strange emptiness. He could still access his own abilities, his Kamehameha, instant transmission, and the various Super Saiyan transformations, but the copied techniques had vanished, purged during the explosive overload. Except, not entirely. As he focused inward, Goku sensed remnants of the copied powers lingering in his consciousness like faint echoes. The Destructo Disc. Piccolo's Special Beam Cannon. Even Crimson's Stellar Cannon, all still there, but dormant, incomplete. You feeling strong enough to travel? Gohan asked, returning to his side. Goku nodded more carefully this time. Yeah, I think so. Just need to get to my feet. With Gohan's help, Goku stood shakily. His orange GI had been replaced with a fresh one, though his body underneath felt like one massive bruise. Bulma created a suppressor device while you were out, Gohan said, holding up what looked like a high-tech wristband. It might help control the copying ability until we understand it better. Goku eyed the device warily. Will it hurt? No more than blowing yourself up did, Vegeta remarked dryly. Just put it on, Kakarot. Reluctantly, Goku allowed Gohan to snap the device around his wrist. Immediately, he felt a subtle change, like a barrier forming around his mind, muting the strange hunger for techniques that had been growing since the cosmic disturbance. Ha! That actually helps, Goku admitted, flexing his arm. Thanks, Bulma. She said to tell you it's payment for destroying her lab, Krillin added with a small smile. Goku winced. Yeah, I should probably apologize for that. Later, Vegeta cut in. Whis is waiting. Can you use instant transmission, or do I need to carry you again? I can manage, Goku said, determined to regain some dignity. He placed 2 fingers to his forehead, focusing on Whis' energy signature. Everyone grab on who's coming. Gohan and Vegeta stepped forward, placing hands on his shoulders. The familiar sensation of instant transmission washed over them, and the healing chamber vanished. They materialized on Beerus's planet to find a gathering of deities that made Goku instantly nervous. Whis stood at the center, staff in hand. Beside him was Beerus, looking irritated, though that was his default expression. The Supreme Kai and Elder Kai were present, along with, most surprisingly, Vados and Kampa from Universe 6. Ah, he lives, Beerus drawled, ears twitching. I was beginning to think we'd have to find a new entertainment source. Lord Beerus, Goku greeted with as much of a bow as his aching body would allow. Sorry for causing trouble. Trouble? Kampa snorted. You've got half the universes ready to declare war on Earth because their top fighters are suddenly losing power. Trouble doesn't begin to cover it. Now, brother, Beerus said lazily. It's hardly the Scion's fault that a cosmic anomaly gave him an ability he can't control. Actually, Whis interjected, stepping forward to examine Goku, that's precisely what we need to determine. This power manifestation is unlike anything I've seen in a Scion before. Goku stood uncomfortably as Whis circled him, the angel's staff occasionally tapping parts of his body. I see Bulma's suppression device is working, Whis noted. Clever woman. But it's only a temporary solution. So what exactly happened to me? Goku asked. And why is my copying draining power from other fighters? The Supreme Kai stepped forward. The disturbance you experienced was a momentary convergence of multiple realities, what you might call parallel dimensions or alternate universes, distinct from our known 12 universes. In some of these realities, Elder Kai continued, fighters possess natural abilities to copy techniques. The disturbance temporarily blended these different universal properties, and you, Goku, somehow retained this foreign ability after the convergence passed. But why me? Goku asked. Vegeta was right there too. Perhaps because of your unique adaptive capacity, Whis suggested. Your entire fighting career has been built on observing and integrating techniques from various masters. This new ability is like an extreme extension of your natural talent. That doesn't explain why it's draining power from the original users, Gohan pointed out. Vados tapped her staff on the ground, creating a holographic display. When Goku copies a technique, he doesn't just replicate the physical movements or energy pattern. He creates a direct link to the technique's source, to its very origin point in the universe. The hologram showed energy flowing from various points toward a central figure representing Goku. Think of it like a river, Vados continued. Each technique has a source spring where its power originates. By copying the technique, Goku diverts some of that river to himself, reducing the flow to the original user. And the more people who know a technique, the less noticeable the drain, Whis added. Which is why your friends didn't immediately feel weakened when you copied their common abilities. But for unique techniques that only one warrior has mastered. Like Crimsa's stellar cannon, Goku realized. He felt it right away because he's the only source. Precisely, the Supreme Kai nodded. And with every technique you absorb, you create more of these connections, pulling power across dimensions until I overload again, Goku finished, glancing down at the suppressor on his wrist. So this thing is all that's keeping me from blowing up. For now, Whis confirmed. But the suppressors will eventually fail as your ability grows stronger. We need a more permanent solution. Beerus yawned dramatically. Well, that was all very informative. But I'm more concerned with placating the angry fighters showing up demanding the Scion's head. Particularly since some of them are from universes outside my jurisdiction. We've temporarily strengthened the barriers between dimensions, Elder Kai said. But they won't hold forever. The convergence weakened the walls between realities. And my copying ability is making it worse, Goku realized. Every technique I steal creates another connection point, another crack between universes. Finally, he gets it, Kampa muttered. So what do I do? Goku asked, looking from one deity to another. I can't just stop fighting. That's who I am. An uncomfortable silence fell over the gathering. Then Whis spoke, his tone uncharacteristically serious. There might be someone who can help. A being who has experienced something similar to your predicament. Beerus's ears perked up. You don't mean, yes, Whis nodded. The one they call mirrors. The name sent a visible ripple of unease through the assembled deities. Even Kampa looked suddenly concerned. Whose mirrors? Goku asked, curiosity piqued despite his physical discomfort. A traveler between realities, Whis explained carefully. A collector of techniques and abilities from across dimensions. Some say he's as old as the gods themselves. And you think he can help me control this copying power? If anyone can, it would be him, Whis confirmed. But Goku, be warned, Mirrors is not like the adversaries you've faced before. He doesn't seek destruction or conquest. His motives are more complex. Can you find him? Vegeta asked, speaking up for the first time since their arrival. We won't need to, Vados said, a slight smile playing at her lips. If my suspicions are correct, he's already aware of Goku's new ability and will seek him out. Great, Goku said, brightening. So I just wait for this Mirrors guy to show up and teach me how to control my copying without hurting anyone. The Supreme Kai exchanged glances with Whis. It may not be that simple, Goku. Mirrors doesn't typically teach. He collects, Elder Kai added ominously. And he's very particular about unique abilities. Before Goku could ask what that meant, a strange sensation washed over the gathering, like a shift in atmospheric pressure. The air seemed to bend, creating a mirage-like distortion several feet away. Well, Beerus said, sitting up straighter, speak of the destroyer. The distortion expanded, forming a perfect circle of swirling energy. Through this portal stepped a figure that made even Goku instinctively tense. He appeared humanoid, tall and lean with porcelain-white skin that seemed to reflect light like polished marble. His eyes were his most striking feature, completely silver, with no pupils or irises, yet somehow conveying an ancient intelligence. He wore an outfit unlike any Goku had seen, a close-fitting suit composed of what looked like liquid metal, shifting colors as he moved. Mirrors, Whis greeted formally. It's been some time. The figure inclined his head slightly. When he spoke, his voice resonated with an odd harmonic quality, as if multiple people were speaking in perfect unison. Angels. Gods. Mortals. His silver gaze swept over the gathering before settling on Goku. And the new copycat. How fascinating. Goku, never one to stand on ceremony, stepped forward with his usual directness. Hey there. I'm Goku. They say you might be able to help me with this new power I've got. Mirrors studied him with unsettling intensity. Son Goku. Scion from Earth. Multiple transformations. Godly Ki. Ultra Instinct. He tilted his head, silver eyes narrowing. And now, dimensional copying. You're quite the collection of anomalies. Thanks. I think. Goku rubbed the back of his head nervously. We were hoping, the Supreme Kai interjected, that you might share your knowledge about technique absorption across dimensions. Goku's new ability is causing considerable disruption. So I've noticed, Mirrors replied, circling Goku slowly. The ripples are spreading across the multiverse. Technique origins destabilizing. Power sources fluctuating. He reached out, long fingers hovering over the suppressor on Goku's wrist. Crude, but temporarily effective. Can you help me control it? Goku asked directly. I don't want to keep stealing power from other fighters. Mirror's expression remained unreadable. Perhaps. But first, I must understand exactly what we're dealing with. He turned to Whis. I'll need to examine him more thoroughly. Alone. Beerus stood up, his aura flaring slightly. That's not happening. Whatever you do with the Scion happens under our supervision. For a moment, tension crackled between the god of destruction and the dimensional traveler. Then Mirrors smiled, a gesture that somehow made him look even more alien. Very well. But I'll need space. And quiet. Whis nodded, creating a barrier around a section of the planet's surface with a wave of his staff. This area will allow you to work undisturbed while remaining within our sight. Mirrors gestured for Goku to follow him into the designated space. After a reassuring nod from Whis, Goku entered the barrier, the sound from outside immediately muting as it closed behind him. So, Goku said, trying to sound casual, you collect techniques too? Mirrors circled him again, silver eyes scanning every inch of his body. I collect many things. Knowledge. Abilities. Uniqueness. He stopped directly in front of Goku. Your new talent is particularly interesting. Not just copying, connecting. Drawing from the source. Very rare. Yeah, but it's hurting people, Goku frowned. And I can't control when it happens or which techniques I copy. Because you don't understand its nature, Mirrors replied. You see it as a technique itself, but it's not. It's a fundamental alteration of your very being, a new sense, like sight or hearing, but for combat abilities. He raised his hand, and to Goku's surprise, a perfect Kamehameha formed between his palms. I, too, can replicate abilities I've witnessed. But my method is different. I study. I practice. I perfect. The energy dissolved. Your method creates connection, a two-way flow that can be both gift and curse. Can I learn to copy without draining the original user? Goku asked hopefully. Mirrors was silent for a moment, his silver eyes unblinking. Perhaps. With the right adjustments. Before Goku could ask what that meant, Mirrors pressed his palm against Goku's forehead. An icy sensation shot through his body, causing him to gasp. It wasn't painful exactly, but deeply uncomfortable, like someone was rummaging through his mind, examining every technique, every battle, every moment of training he'd ever experienced. Fascinating, Mirrors murmured. Your combat history is extraordinary. So many different approaches to energy manipulation. Transformation. Even godly power. His silver eyes widened slightly. And fragments of ultra instinct, most impressive. Goku tried to pull away, but found himself frozen in place, unable to break contact with Mirror's hand. What are you doing? He managed to ask, his voice strained. Learning, Mirrors replied simply. About you. About this new ability. About its potential. Finally, he withdrew his hand, and Goku staggered backward, gasping for breath. The cosmic disturbance didn't give you this ability by chance, Mirrors said, his harmonic voice taking on a new intensity. It recognized something in you, a natural affinity for adaptation, for growth through combat. It merely accelerated what was already there. So I was always meant to develop this power? Goku asked, rubbing his forehead where Mirrors had touched him. No. But of all beings across all dimensions affected by the convergence, you were the most compatible vessel. Mirrors turned away, pacing the enclosed space. The question is whether you can handle its evolution. Evolution? What do you mean? Your copying will grow stronger, more instinctive. The connection's deeper. Eventually, you'll be able to copy abilities without even seeing them performed, merely by being in proximity to their users. Goku's eyes widened. But that would drain even more power from fighters. Yes, Mirrors agreed. Unless you learn to control the flow, to take only what you need without diminishing the source. Can you teach me how to do that? Mirrors was silent for a long moment. I can show you a beginning path. But the full journey will be yours alone. He turned back to face Goku. Remove the suppressor. Goku hesitated, glancing toward the barrier where Whis and the others watched. Last time I went without it, I nearly blew up from power overload. Because you were fighting it, Mirror said. You must embrace the ability to control it. The suppressor merely delays the inevitable. After a moment's consideration, Goku unlatched the device. Immediately, the strange hunger returned, a heightened awareness of potential techniques to absorb. He could sense Mirror's vast reservoir of abilities, each one calling to him like a siren song. Good, Mirror said. Now, focus on a single technique you've copied. The most recent one. Goku closed his eyes, concentrating on Crimsa's stellar cannon. The knowledge was still there, though fragmented after his overload. I can feel it, he said. But it's not complete anymore. Because the connection was severed during your power surge, Mirrors explained. Now, imagine that connection as a thread of light stretching across dimensions, linking you to Crimsa. Goku focused harder, visualizing the thread as Mirrors described. To his surprise, he could actually sense it, a tenuous strand of energy extending outward beyond normal space. I see it. Now, Mirrors continued, his voice dropping to a hypnotic cadence, instead of pulling energy along that thread, push some of your own energy back toward the source. Goku frowned in concentration, directing a small pulse of his ki along the visualized connection. Suddenly, the thread brightened, solidifying. The knowledge of the stellar cannon technique became crystal clear in his mind again. It worked. Goku exclaimed, opening his eyes. I can feel the complete technique now. And Crimsa will feel his power restored, Mirrors said, a strange satisfaction in his voice. You've balanced the connection, making it symbiotic rather than parasitic. So I can still copy techniques without hurting anyone? I just have to give back some energy. In essence, yes. Mirrors nodded. Though more complex abilities will require more energy exchange. And you must maintain awareness of all your connections, or they will default to draining the source. Goku's excitement dimmed slightly. That sounds like a lot to keep track of. Indeed. Which is why most beings who develop this ability eventually destroy themselves, too many connections, too much power, too little control. Mirror's silver eyes gleamed. But you, son Goku, you might be different. Something about the way he said it made Goku uneasy, but before he could respond, the barrier around them shimmered and dissolved. That's enough for today, Whis announced, stepping forward. Goku needs rest to recover from his ordeal. Mirrors inclined his head. Of course. We've made good progress. He turned to Goku. Practice with the connection visualization. Start with just one or two techniques. Build your control gradually. Thanks, Goku said sincerely. I was worried I'd have to give up fighting altogether. That would be a waste, Mirrors replied. To Whis, he added, I'll return tomorrow to continue his training. There's much more to cover. With that, he stepped backward into another swirling portal that materialized behind him, vanishing as suddenly as he had appeared. An uncomfortable silence fell over the group before Beerus broke it with a snort. Well, that was unusually helpful of him. I don't trust it for a second. Mirrors always has his own agenda, Whis agreed. But for now, his guidance seems sound. Goku flexed his hand, feeling the copied techniques in his mind with new awareness. He showed me how to balance the connections so they don't drain power from the original users. I just have to practice. Did he mention anything about fixing the dimensional instability your copying is causing? The Supreme Kai asked. Goku frowned. No, just how to control individual connections. Convenient omission, Vegeta muttered. Let's focus on one problem at a time, Whis suggested. If Goku can master control over his copying, it will at least prevent further damage while we address the larger dimensional issues. Goku nodded, though fatigue was starting to overtake him again. His brief session with mirrors had drained what little energy he'd recovered. "I should head back to Earth," he said. "Rest up and try practicing like mirrors suggested." "I'll accompany you," Whis offered. "There are some additional precautions we should implement at your home, just in case more visitors arrive from other dimensions." The following days fell into a strange new routine. Each morning, Goku would practice controlling his copying ability, starting with just one technique, Krillin's Destructo Disc, since his friend had volunteered to help monitor the energy flow. Using Mirror's visualization method, Goku learned to establish a balanced connection, taking just enough knowledge to perform the technique while sending some of his own energy back to maintain equilibrium. By the third day, he could maintain balanced connections with 3 different techniques simultaneously without strain. The suppressor remained on his wrist as a safety measure, but he was relying on it less. Mirrors returned as promised, his silver eyes always watching with that unsettling intensity as Goku practiced. His guidance was precise and effective, though something about him continued to make Goku uneasy. There was a hunger in those metallic eyes when they tracked Goku's movements, an eagerness that went beyond mere teaching. On the 4th day after his recovery, Goku was meditating in the forest near his home, maintaining balanced connections with Krillin's Destructo Disc, Piccolo's Special Beam Cannon, and Tien's Multiform Technique. His concentration was interrupted by a familiar energy signature approaching rapidly. Kakarot. Vegeta landed in the clearing, his expression unusually grave. "We have a situation." Goku opened his eyes, carefully maintaining his technique connections. "What's happening?" "More visitors from other dimensions," Vegeta said. "But not just single warriors this time. Groups. All converging on Earth looking for the technique thief." "But I haven't been stealing any new techniques," Goku protested. "I've only been working with the few I already copied, and I've balanced those connections." "Apparently that's not enough," Vegeta replied. "According to Whis, the initial damage is spreading. The connections you established, even the balanced ones, are creating weak points between dimensions. Like cracks in a dam, once they start, they keep growing." Goku stood up, disturbed by the news. "Where are these fighters now?" "Whis and Beerus are containing them at the lookout, but they won't be able to hold everyone back for long." Vegeta crossed his arms. "And there's something else. Mirrors has been asking questions, about Ultra Instinct, about your battles with Jiren and Moro. He seems particularly interested in how you've adapted to godly energy." "He's been helping me," Goku said, though doubt crept into his voice. "Has he?" Vegeta raised an eyebrow. "Or is he studying you for his own purposes? Think, Kakarot. Why would a being who collects abilities across dimensions be so eager to help someone with a power that potentially surpasses his own?" The question hung in the air, uncomfortably plausible. Before Goku could respond, both scions tensed as a new energy signature appeared, followed by another, and another. "They found you," Vegeta growled, dropping into a fighting stance. 5 warriors descended from the sky, each radiating power and hostility. Goku recognized Crimsa among them, the Crimson Fighter from Universe 6. The others were unfamiliar, a woman with blue skin and crackling electrical energy surrounding her hands, a massive, rocky humanoid with glowing veins of magma running through his body, a slender, reptilian being wielding twin energy blades, and a hooded figure whose face remained hidden in shadow. "There he is," Crimsa announced, pointing at Goku. "The thief who's been draining our powers and destabilizing our dimensions." "Look, I'm sorry about what happened," Goku said, raising his hands peacefully. "But I'm learning to control this ability. I've even restored your stellar cannon technique by balancing our connection." "Too little, too late," the blue-skinned woman snarled, electricity intensifying around her hands. "The damage is spreading. Warriors across multiple dimensions are losing their unique abilities that took lifetimes to develop. And the boundaries between our worlds are weakening," the hooded figure added, its voice echoing strangely. "Creatures are crossing over that should never have met. Realities are bleeding into each other." We've come to end the problem at its source, the reptilian warrior hissed, energy blades humming ominously. Vegeta stepped forward. If you want to fight Kakarot, you'll have to go through me first. That won't be necessary. All eyes turned as a portal swirled into existence, and mirrors stepped through, silver eyes surveying the confrontation. Mirrors, the hooded figure gasped. What are you doing here? The same as all of you, Mirrors replied smoothly. Addressing the dimensional instability. He turned to Goku. They're right, you know. Your connections, even the balanced ones, are weakening the walls between realities. You didn't tell me that, Goku said, frowning. You said balancing the connections would fix the problem. I said it would prevent further damage, Mirrors corrected. But the existing damage remains. And it's spreading, as these warriors have discovered. Then how do I fix it? Goku asked. I'll do whatever it takes. I never wanted to hurt anyone or damage any dimensions. Mirror's expression remained unreadable, but something like satisfaction flickered in those silver eyes. There is a solution, he said. But it requires significant sacrifice on your part, son Goku. The assembled warriors watched intently as Mirrors approached Goku, circling him as he had during their first meeting. Your copying ability is unique, Mirrors continued. Not because it copies techniques, many beings across dimensions can do that, but because it creates direct connections to the source. These connections are what's causing the instability. So I need to sever all the connections? Goku asked. No. The damage is done. Severing them now would only accelerate the collapse. Mirrors stopped directly in front of Goku. What's needed is a focal point, a nexus to stabilize all the connections at once, redirecting their disruptive energy. And what would that be? Me, Mirrors said simply. I've spent millennia developing the capacity to contain and organize abilities from across dimensions. I can absorb your connections, stabilize them, and prevent further damage to the multiverse. Vegeta stepped forward suspiciously. And what happens to Kakarot in this arrangement? He loses the copying ability, of course, Mirrors replied. Returns to his normal state. A fair trade for saving countless dimensions, wouldn't you agree? The gathered warriors murmured among themselves, seemingly satisfied with this solution. But Goku hesitated, studying Mirror's silver eyes more carefully than before. If you take my connections, he said slowly, you'd gain the ability to copy techniques the same way I do, wouldn't you? Creating those direct links to the source. A flicker of surprise crossed Mirror's porcelain features. Perceptive. Yes, I would inherit that aspect of your ability. But unlike you, I have the experience to control it properly. I don't know, Goku said, still hesitant. Whis and the Supreme Kai never mentioned this option. Maybe we should consult them first. Something hardened in Mirror's expression. There's no time. The dimensional barriers are weakening by the hour. Even now, more warriors from affected realities are converging on this point. As if on cue, the sky darkened ominously, crackling with multicolored energy similar to the initial disturbance. Ripples appeared in the air, dozens of them, each showing glimpses of different dimensions and the beings within them, all focused on Earth with unmistakable intent. Decide now, son Goku, Mirrors urged, extending his hand. Your new ability, or the stability of countless dimensions. Goku looked at the gathering dimensional rifts, then at the angry warriors who had already arrived, and finally at Vegeta, whose expression remained deeply suspicious. Something's not right, Goku said, stepping back from Mirrors. This all feels too convenient. Kakarot, Vegeta warned, behind you. Goku spun around to find the hooded figure directly behind him, hands raised in a strange gesture. The hood had fallen back, revealing a face that was nothing but a swirling vortex of energy. Forgive me, the figure's voice echoed. But the multiverse must be preserved. Before Goku could react, the vortex faced being pressed its hands against his chest. Pain exploded through his body as he felt his energy being forcibly extracted. He tried to fight back, but his limbs wouldn't respond. "Stop!" Vegeta shouted, charging toward them. Crimson and the other warriors intercepted him, holding him back despite his furious struggle. "This is necessary," Crimson insisted. "Your friend's power is tearing reality apart." Through the haze of pain, Goku saw mirrors watching with clinical interest, making no move to intervene. And in that moment, understanding clicked into place. "You planned this," Goku gasped, fighting against the energy drain. "You brought them here, turned them against me." A cold smile spread across Mirror's porcelain face. "I merely accelerated an inevitable confrontation. These warriors have legitimate grievances against you. But you're making it worse." Goku struggled to speak as more of his energy was drained away. "You're the one, destabilizing the connections." Mirrors stepped closer, silver eyes gleaming with naked ambition now. "Very good, son Goku. Yes, I've been amplifying the dimensional disruption, directing the blame toward you. A necessary deception to acquire what I've sought for millennia, a direct connection to the source of all techniques." With unexpected speed, he thrust his hand directly into Goku's chest, not physically breaking the skin, but somehow phasing through it to reach something deeper. Goku screamed as Mirror's fingers closed around what felt like his very essence. "Your copying ability is unique because it doesn't just replicate techniques, it taps into their origin point across all dimensions," Mirrors explained, his harmonic voice vibrating with excitement. "With it, I'll no longer need to study and practice. I'll simply take." Vegeta roared in fury, his aura exploding into Super Saiyan Blue. The sudden transformation caught the other warriors by surprise, allowing him to break free and charge toward Mirrors. "Get away from him." Vegeta launched a devastating punch at Mirror's head. To everyone's shock, Mirrors caught the blow with his free hand, completely unfazed by Vegeta's god-level power. "Patience, Prince of Science," Mirrors said. "Your turn will come. So many interesting techniques to absorb from you as well." With casual strength, he hurled Vegeta through several trees. Then he refocused on Goku, who was still trapped in the vortex-faced being's hold. "Now, son Goku, the culmination of our brief tutelage. I'll take that copying ability, along with a few of your more impressive techniques. Ultra Instinct, for instance, has eluded me until now." Goku felt his consciousness fading as Mirrors began extracting something fundamental from his being. The suppressor on his wrist sparked and shattered, unable to contain the energy fluctuations. In desperation, Goku reached for the one power that had saved him in his darkest moments, Ultra Instinct. But his energy was too depleted, his focus too shattered by pain. Instead, something unexpected happened. As Mirrors pulled at Goku's copying ability, all the connections that had formed since the cosmic disturbance suddenly flared to life simultaneously. Every technique Goku had copied, every fighter he had linked to, all resonated at once across dimensions. Mirror's silver eyes widened in alarm. "What are you doing? Stop resisting." But it wasn't resistance, it was collapse. The connections were overloading, just as they had during Goku's initial power surge, but on a much larger scale. Energy poured into Goku from countless sources across dimensions, overwhelming both him and Mirrors, who remained linked to his essence. The vortex-faced being released Goku, backing away in terror. "The connections are inverting. They're all flowing inward." Mirrors tried to withdraw his hand from Goku's chest, but found himself trapped by the very connections he had sought to steal. "No. This isn't possible." Goku, barely conscious, managed a weak smile. "You wanted my connections, now you've got them. All of them." Light erupted from Goku's body, not the destructive explosion from before, but a focused beam that engulfed Mirrors completely. The dimensional traveler screamed as every technique connection Goku had established transferred to him all at once, overwhelming his millennia of careful control. The other warriors scattered as Mirrors began to shift uncontrollably between forms and powers, his body unable to contain the sudden influx of conflicting energies. Portals opened and closed around him randomly, each one offering glimpses of different dimensions. This isn't over. Mirrors gasped between transformations, his silver eyes fixed hatefully on Goku. I'll master this, return for the rest. With a final, reality-bending distortion, Mirrors was pulled into one of his own unstable portals, his scream echoing across dimensions as he vanished. The moment he disappeared, the dimensional rifts in the sky began to close. The multicolored energy dissipated, and the oppressive pressure that had been building lifted. Goku collapsed to his knees, drained but alive. Vegeta limped to his side, supporting him before he could fall face first into the dirt. Kakarot, Vegeta said with grudging respect. What did you do? I'm not entirely sure, Goku admitted weakly. When he tried to take my copying ability, all the connections activated at once. But instead of overloading me like before, they overloaded him. The warriors who had come to confront Goku approached cautiously, confusion evident on their faces. The disturbance, Crimsa said, it's fading. I can feel my power returning to normal. Mirrors deceived us, the blue-skinned woman realized. He was manipulating the connections all along, making them more unstable to force a confrontation. The vortex-faced being bowed its head. I am deeply sorry, Son Goku. We were misled. Goku nodded weakly in acceptance of their apology, too exhausted to speak further. The strain of the connection overload, combined with Mirror's attempted theft of his abilities, had left him completely drained. What about your copying ability? Vegeta asked. Did Mirrors take it? Goku closed his eyes, searching his mind and spirit for the strange hunger that had defined the past week. To his relief, it was gone, along with all the connections to other fighters' techniques. It's gone, he confirmed. I think when Mirrors tried to take it, something backfired. The ability transferred to him, but it took all the unstable connections with it. Good riddance, Vegeta muttered. It was more trouble than it was worth. The dimensional visitors began to fade, returning to their own realities as the barriers between worlds strengthened. We will spread the word, Crimsa promised before disappearing. The technique thief has been identified, and it is not Son Goku, but Mirrors. After they had all vanished, Whis and Beerus appeared through their own method of transportation, surveying the devastated clearing with raised eyebrows. My, Whis remarked. It seems we missed quite the confrontation. Mirrors, Goku managed to say. He tried to steal my copying ability, but something went wrong. I suspected he might make such an attempt, Whis said, tapping his staff thoughtfully. Mirrors has always coveted more efficient ways to collect techniques. Your ability to connect directly to the source must have been irresistible to him. You could have warned us, Vegeta growled. Would you have believed me without evidence? Whis asked mildly. Besides, I had faith in Goku's instincts. What happens now? Goku asked, slowly regaining his strength. Is Mirrors gone for good? Beerus snorted. Unlikely. Beings like him have a way of adapting, even to catastrophic setbacks. But he'll be occupied for quite some time, trying to control all those unstable connections you pass to him. And the dimensional damage? Vegeta pressed. Already healing, Whis confirmed. Without the active connections pulling energy across realities, the natural boundaries are reasserting themselves. Goku sighed with relief. So everything's back to normal. I'm just, regular old me again. As regular as a scion with the power of gods can be, Beerus drawled. Consider yourself lucky, Goku. Few beings survive an encounter with Mirrors, let alone manage to turn the tables on him. As they helped Goku to his feet, Whis studied him with unusual intensity. Though I wonder, did all of the copying ability transfer to Mirrors, or might some seed of it remain within you? Such fundamental changes rarely reverse completely. Goku flexed his hand, feeling only his familiar ki flowing through it. I don't think so. I can't sense any techniques besides my own. For now, perhaps, Whis said enigmatically. But the experience has changed you, at the very least. Your mind has glimpsed the interconnectedness of all techniques across dimensions. That knowledge doesn't simply vanish. Great, Vegeta muttered. Just what we need, Kakarot with even more potential for growth. Despite his exhaustion, Goku laughed. Come on, Vegeta. Isn't that what being a Saiyan is all about? Always finding new ways to get stronger. Vegeta didn't answer, but the slight upturn at the corner of his mouth was response enough. As they prepared to return to the lookout for healing, Goku cast one last glance at the sky where the dimensional rifts had been. Somewhere out there, across realities, Mirrors was struggling with the very power he had coveted. And somehow, Goku suspected, their paths would cross again. But for now, he was content to be himself again, just Goku, a Saiyan from Earth who didn't need to copy others' techniques to be exceptional. His own path, forged through decades of training and battle, was unique enough. Still, he couldn't help but wonder what it would be like to face Mirrors again, whether his brief experience with the copying ability had left him better prepared for whatever the dimensional traveler might become. Only time would tell. And if there was one thing Goku had plenty of, it was time to train, to grow, and to be ready for the next challenge the multiverse threw his way. The end. Thank you for watching this video. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel and like this video.